Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Be the Media Huntington. Tonight is Wednesday, October 23rd. I am Jenny Lee, and tonight I have with me Miss Dina.
Hi, guys.
And Miss Lisa.
Hi.
And we have a full show for you tonight. Lots going on in the town of Huntington. The elections are heating up with only 2 weeks out. And what we are noticing is a lot of fakery on Facebook. We've had some interesting things going down this week. I know that my wall, it's funny because what I've been hearing or reading in other places, people send me things that they don't believe that we have a platform, although we do. We have a lot more subscribers than even the town of Huntington does on our YouTube channel, and we have a lot more than any of the other local pages. And to say that we don't have this platform, but then come to our pages to promote their own nonsense only proves that they're trying to use the platform that we built here to get out their fake news. So we had some serious fakery going on, and it started off with the Andre Sorrentino. Somebody had taken it upon themselves to go to the Huntington Patch neighborhood tips. And they posted in there, which anybody can post under neighborhood tips. If you want to go down there and put down your favorite apple pie recipe, you can do that, and it will go there under neighborhood tips. What they did is they posted a article allegedly written by a award-winning author who is also a Democrat running for District 12, who happens to be somebody who writes for the newspapers also. But if it had been written by and gone the normal course of that, the editors at the Patch would have had no problem posting it as an actual news article. So somebody knew that the information was wrong. And in the information, they had stated that Andre Sorrentino had 29 judgments against him, totaling $500,000, dating back to 1999 for failure to pay taxes. And it's funny how we always hear about these things 2 weeks before the election and not before that ever. So one of our lovely teammates who isn't in front of the camera went and searched through everything, and she found that there were no judgments issued against Andre at all, and the entire story was fabricated. But it got posted around all over everywhere. Dana, you got hit, right?
I did. It's a person. His name is Peter Backers or Backins. Backins. He posted on the NAACP. He tried to post on, you're from Huntington. I saw him post somewhere at the Huntington Voices. I saw him on your wall. The thing is that he posts so much foolery, and then he posts something and he goes back and he asks you questions in regards to what he posted. And it just sounds so crazy. So when we asked about the 29 judgments, he said, maybe next time you can ask better questions than about source. And at first I was like, what? And then he's like, because remember Andre said he made the source. And I'm like, you people will watch a show for an entire hour, and the only thing you could come up with or remember is that the man said something about source. Well, then you're not on my level intellectually, and you're just not on my level, period. I have nothing to say. Then I heard he was a professor, and he has alternate accounts. If it was me, I'd be really afraid, because kids nowadays are very, very smart.
Well, they've already outed him. They've already outed him. That's how we got the proof of that. His kids post on where he works, he posts his own favorable reviews. And the kids outed him for that.
That he could be, if a parent gets a hold of that, or someone really wants to take him up on that, he could be fired. That's a form of harassment. You are purposely going, and if you're purposely spreading fraudulent news like he was, that's another thing, But my question is, if you're a professor, you don't have papers to grade, you don't have a curriculum to follow, that you could go from account to account to account to account to post all this foolishness. That's sad. That doesn't speak good for you as a person. I wouldn't want teaching my dog, let alone my kid. And I don't have a dog. That's just how I feel.
Yeah. Well, a lot of this is really just, I mean, it used to be coming from Huntington Matters, who had their own little faux pas this week that we'll talk, but now the new one's coming from Huntington Voices. And what they do over there is they either don't let you in if they already know your political leanings, or they let you in, and if they see that you're leaning a certain way, they shut you down. They did it to one of our other friends. I won't say his name, but they've silenced, and he came out swinging that he didn't appreciate that his opinion. And there are a few, I think they keep just enough people on there to give it the illusion. But if you go and you look, it's kind of interesting. So because they're moderating themselves to such a degree, you have basically it's Democrats or people that are working for the Democrats at town hall that are posting there. So like the assistants, like Michelle Martins and all of them, you'll see it's a public page, so they're public posts, so you can say it, but you'll see that it's Democrats interacting with Democrats, and every so often, you have a conservative voice jump in and say, no, 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 but it far outweighs to give the illusion of that's what this is. And in contrast, on Huntington Matters, you've got most of the conversation that's taking place is they have 11 administrators. So the administrators pose a question, and then they come in and they talk to each other about it, but they also heavily moderate the page. I run Parents of Huntington all by myself. I don't delete it. I don't remove. We don't let fake accounts on. I had one slip by that we did get rid of. And we don't let people join as pages because we feel that still gives you a degree of anonymity. But other than that, we have so much less problems because we moderate less. People don't want to be moderated to that degree. One of the
admins also shuts off if it's a juicy topic and she has to control the whole thing. She literally will close commenting before she goes to sleep. And then when she wakes up in the morning and has coffee, then she'll turn commenting back on, just so she can monitor every single word and its grammar. It's pathetic.
Can you imagine your life being wrapped up in that?
How lonely is that?
Very.
Let me interject. I have two things to say right quick. I remember you just mentioned Michelle Martinez. I remember a very, very long time ago, Jenny and I had a conversation about her, and you told me how she was. And then I heard the same thing from other people. I didn't, you know me, I go for people for what they give me, right? So of course, because she's with Joan, I guess she we're 12. So because I don't agree with her politically, now it's a problem. Anyway, I was on the stage and I was doing the moderating. Would you believe this lady had the nerve to roll her eyes at me? How old are we? Are we 2? Or are we adults? I don't know. I got confused. I've never had that done. I thought it was kind of comical. And then when I told other people that she's had encounters with that told me about her, they said, what did you expect? We told you. And I was like, I didn't think, if you disagree with somebody politically, you may not speak to them for whatever. We're human. I did it to Chad. But to go on the way she did, and she sat in the front row and she rolls her eyes. And I'm like, are you crazy? You have to be crazy. You have to be crazy. Why would you do that? What did you think my reaction was going to be? I don't know, but I thought it was classless, and it definitely was tasteless. And it let me see how she was as a person. Even though I know I was warned, I didn't believe anyone, and I took her for a word. Was I wrong?
It's always good to have your own experience of people. And then when you find out that experience matches up with other people have told you, it just secures you in your own belief and know that you were right and so were other people.
And the second thing I want to talk about was the Huntington Voices. I'm not sure if you guys are talking about but I'm talking about the Huntington Voices. I'm on Huntington Voices. We all know my position. I've never been put off, and I actually engage in some respectful dialogue there, and I don't hold my tongue. What I don't like is there are particular people on there. There's one by the name, I think his name David Brown. If you don't agree with him, he tries to trick and switch your words. And I don't like that. If you have a viewpoint to stand on it. And it should be sufficient enough that you don't have to fall back. And something else I don't care for on that page is that they dig. like they put on, there was an article that I thought was really well, and there was really good comments in regards to the supervisor. I think he spent like 34,000 on a media box or something like that. And I thought that was good because I didn't hear anything about it. And they got straight to the point, and I liked it. I said, okay, let's do some research. Then when they were talking about Gene and the sign, I'm like, how are you comparing that? And the person that you're always talking about, Councilwoman Circle, has the same thing. And oh, they went back. But Mr. Brown, I don't know what he was. I don't remember what his name. He's like, I was twisting his words, and he got another friend coming in. And he said that I said, of all people, that I call someone corrupt. I don't even say that. What I said is that on the Huntington School Board, you have a lawyer who is on the school board, and he specializes in immigration, and he's a board trustee. If that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is.
That's my word, corrupt. I'll own that. I probably said that.
And then I said, you're talking about Andre, or you talk about Gene in the Blue House or whatever, and how because he donated to his campaign, how that's why he got his picture up there. But Joan has 3 times what this person donated to Gene's camp, and he's right on top of a lawyer's office. And then to add insult to injury, when it's on, it's written in Spanish. So if you don't know what's going on, you know to go vote for her because that's the face you saw on your immigration's lawyer's, building. So what exactly are you trying to infer? That's something that they do I don't like. If you're going to out them all. Just stick to what you have to. Don't talk about this quid pro quo. And they always refer back to Chad, Supervisor Lupinacci. I don't know why he's so relevant to them. I really do not understand. But everything reverts back to him. And that's something I don't like on there. The other one you're talking about, we had an interesting issue with them because of the Maggie Rosales. That's the only thing I have to say about that one.
Well, yeah, that's the other page. But I just want to back up real quick because you had mentioned the one person he had, the David, that you had an issue. And understand that he's brutally fighting for his wife's job. That's what his wife is the one of like the campaign manager or whatever of Joan's campaign. But she works, but she works at town hall too. She used to be a school board trustee.
What's her name?
Kim Brown. That's her husband.
That's the one.
That's her husband. That's why you got to watch the names, because this town is completely incestuous. So when you see him on there fighting the way he's fighting, understand in his mind, he's fighting for his wife's job, because they all feel like that they're going to lose their jobs. And honestly, some people should at this point for the shenanigans they've been pulling. But the thing on Huntington Matters, it was within 10 hours, they put up this long post, which June put up, and it's always so long. It's almost a hard read for me. It's just, it just goes on and on and on. But she was talking about how the page was formed. And Lisa and I have very intimate knowledge of it because we were part of it in the beginning. As a matter of fact, that rally was not going to happen for Maggie unless I pushed for it, because nobody in School District 13 wanted to rally. And you got Mary Beth out there talking about her speech. I wrote that for her. So they go on and on and on about how this group was formed, blah, 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 5 years ago, because this happened. The community rallied for Maggie Rosales, who she was brutally murdered. Within 10 minutes later, they put up this thing about coming to their 5-year birthday party at the Paramount in the Founders Room for $28.67 each, which is, I don't know what they
members for members
only. But there's how much self-awareness is lacking here to just like, maybe you shouldn't be throwing a party to celebrate that your group was formed because this girl died. Maybe that's really not a good idea, but they're doing it anyway.
That they block people from, they exclude people from because they don't like what you have to say. Well, I'm sorry, Biatch. That was a community page for the whole entire community, and now you're celebrating a birthday party under false pretenses for members. Oh, I'm sorry, the community is all supposed to be a member of this, little party.
Well, especially since you say that you claim to represent us, when during the Villadome Mall. They wrote that letter to town hall stating that they represented the totality of everyone on their Facebook page, and they fight all the time on there. So how did you get a consensus from all those people if they can't agree over anything, really? I mean, if you post a picture of an illegal immigrant peeing on the corner of Depot Road, do you know that they will lose their shit and call you a racist? And that's what they'll fight over. They'll fight over the fact that you can't post a picture of this Hispanic man. That makes you a racist. And they go on and on and on about that. So
this is a quick correct. Kim Brown is not Jones' campaign manager, it's her friend. So that she's not the manager, but I know who you're talking about.
I thought she was working on her campaign.
Yeah, she's not. She may be working. She's not the campaign manager. I don't know what her. I don't even know who she is. But she's not. I just wanted to clarify that because I don't want anyone to say that we're saying anything wrong. What I had to say about the whole Huntington Matters thing, I'm really not too sure what goes on there because I'm really not. I'm on the page, but I just go on there sporadically. What I thought was sad and in poor taste was that you mentioned a child's murder, and then you mentioned a birthday. You can't do that. A child's death in general, it's very hard for a parent in general, but to have your child murdered, that's something that stays with you for forever. So while it's admirable of them to mention it and say, oh, we want to recognize her murder or whatever the case may be, that's great. But then to mention a party, even, I don't care if it's 10 hours, 2 hours, you should at least have a full 24 hours when you don't announce things like that.
Or you shouldn't be having a party for your birthday to celebrate a group that was formed because somebody was murdered. Maybe you should make a scholarship fund for her sister, her little sister.
I mean, we can't. I don't know. What they're. I don't know what they do over there. But all I know is that the way it was presented and the way it looks, it was done in poor taste, and it was very classless, and it was kind of hurtful. If I was her parents, I would be offended at that. And I would be more angry that you would even mention to celebrate something and my daughter was murdered brutally.
The whole reason that group exists is because Maggie was murdered. Yeah. And they don't honor that memory in what they do. They're just it's all about them.
I think, they just really need, I don't know if that was just something that they overthought or they didn't think, I don't know. But to me, as a mother, that was in poor taste. And if that was my child, I would be very offended. I wouldn't be offended, I'd be hurt. Because here you are, this group was organized based off of, our family's pain and our daughter's murder. And, that's what I thought you were here to support, not to do a birthday party for yourself, because it's, in essence, you're saying you're celebrating her murder. Mm-hmm. That's a very poor choice of words, in my opinion. So,
yep, but I guess that's what's coming out of that group. And then I think what really, really upset me the most, even though a little bit of time has gone by since then, we lost Officer Drew because of that. And I'm never going to forget that. I don't care how many ways they want to try to pretend that, that's exactly how it happened. We lost Officer Drew because they have such narcissistic personalities. They had to get their name in the paper, and everything blew up from then because that incident had happened a year prior to that.
Yep. They're control freaks. That's really all they are.
I know.
They stuff that control right down their throat and hurt everybody else, hurt the community that they're so obsessed with controlling. Yeah. When you think about it, it really does come down to they're definitely got their control issues on full display. And they also want to control what cars you buy. Did you ever notice that?
What? How do they do that?
With their sponsors. Come and buy this car. Come and buy that car. With all their little sponsorship going on. They want to control that too.
I didn't even know they had sponsors.
Yeah. I know. The only reason I went and looked is because somebody told me I had to go see something. And then I was like, really? On both of them. For the most part, I just don't have time. I'm involved in so many other things. I don't have time to go get involved in all that other drama. We have all this going on. We
I'm
have
blocked, so I only see what you talk about. So it's a lot less stressful.
They blocked you too.
I've been blocked. I was blocked because I called an MS-13 member a dirtbag, and I was accused of hate speech. So they booted me.
they blocked Patrick and he's running for office.
Deegan?
Yeah, do you think, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. You want to know what's really funny?
Not a member
We
anymore.
decided to do it. We decided to start interviewing candidates live, right? We did Andre. That one was great. He did a good job. We did Gene last week, who was also very good. And all of a sudden, 2 days ago, that's what I went to go see. That's exactly what it was. Somebody had alerted me. Oh, look, they're copying you again. So
Wait, who's copying? What?
Huntington Matters, June
Mhm.
did a Facebook. That's the whole reason I ended up on Huntington Matters and saw the Maggie stuff and everything else, was because somebody had said they're copying what you're doing with your Facebook Live and they're interviewing the candidates on live because they had done one with Andre, which is great. I want them to get, I want the public to get as much as they can, but they're just copycats, no original thought. So, and come to find out now, they're going to be doing Mr. Cook as well. So makes you wonder, you have kicked Patrick off your page. You're going to do him too? Or how about Joan and Kathleen? They didn't want to come on with us. They're going to go over there. If so, that's going to say a lot about Kathleen and Joan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I'll just be the
There
devil.
it is.
I'll be the devil's
Let's hear
advocate. I mean, after my experience the other day, I really wouldn't blame Kathleen. I'm surprised she didn't do it, but I think she has something. But I wouldn't blame Joan for not coming on the show. I'm sorry, I have to be honest. We are a little bit.
You could have at least answered, and we would have been fair.
That's true. There's no reason for not. You can either accept or decline. That is true.
Right. Kathleen Cleary, at least they got back to us, right? And did not like the format. So let's see if you're going to like the same format for somebody who's a left-leaning group. Because really, those aren't the people you need to be winning over. You need.
Of course, they're going to love the format. They're going to coddle them. They're going to snuggle with them.
Because that was the whole issue with the person. I can show you the email. Whole issue was the format.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't go into it, but sometimes people are not as tough as, I'm told that we all seem like we're right-leaning people. I don't know how I fall into that category, but hey, I just say what it was true. So
funny.
maybe that's why she chose not to go on. I don't think I lean anyway. I think
Well, you are a registered Republican, but I have to tell you, lately I've been getting a lefty feel from you.
No, never.
And Elisa totally confuses me because she was a registered Democrat and now she's all in for Trump. So I don't know. I've just always been, I'm not even straight down the middle. I just, I like who I like. I voted for Obama in 2008. I voted for Trump in 2016. I voted third party prior to that. My first vote I ever voted for was for Ross Perot. And I got to tell you, everything he said was going to happen, especially with NAFTA, did. So I'm glad that wasn't a wasted vote. I was very young then. I knew nothing. I still have a lot to learn. Oh, so what you want to give us a little update on the NAACP while I get us set up for our next set?
We had to meet the candidates last Thursday. Everyone showed up from the town council, which was everyone. We had both receiver of taxes, the person Jillian Guckman who's in, and Stacy Calabusi who's running. We had the town clerk. We had Sachs and Rhea. We had from the town council, we had Sergel, Cook, Patrick, and is anyone else? And Andre. How could I forget Andre? We had legislators. We had Susan Berlin, Donnelly. Spencer wasn't there. There was two other. I think West. There was another person there. I can't remember all their names. And because I didn't set this particular one up, I just was the moderator. I didn't send out cards. I didn't know how many people were coming. I didn't know anything. And John Kennedy did show up, which I was very surprised. It was very good. It was attended well. Some of the questions that they had were a bit racy, for multiple reasons. And I had to really be selective with the questioning. But because they had so many people up there, it was really difficult to get the hard hitting questions in.
What do you mean by racy? Because racy means to me like your skirt's too short.
I mean, questions like, there were questions directed like directly towards Kathleen Cleary, but the way that they worded the question was really, it was more like personal than what it was.
It didn't apply to all the candidates.
Right. And then they had a lot of questions for Gene, and a lot of the questions for Gene was racially motivated. And even though you may feel a way about him, that's not the way, if I'm the moderator, I don't, I'm not going to ask certain questions because I just don't think it's important at that time. And I do try to pick from the crowd. So thank God I always have enough to pick from. But this year, for some reason, it was a lot of racy personal questions. They were asking about Miss Calamusi's pension and things like that, and talking about Miss Guthman, who's already in, and she doesn't really need to be a lawyer. It was just really some mudslinging. And I that was the first time I've ever had that. And I just was very thrown back, because usually the questions are, but some of these questions were in like paragraphs. And you were like, I wouldn't even remember what the question was by the time I finished.
I always noticed at the NAACP that a lot of the questions guys used to get prior to the Trump thing was national, mostly national issues. Like they would ask local
questions. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes people don't really get the gist of,
like, where do you stand on abortion? It's not a local town issue that they have any control over. So why would that even be an issue? That was years ago, though.
They don't really understand some of the questions that they ask, and some of the questions that they ask don't pertain to who they think it should go to. Like, I can't ask, Gene or Joan about the receiver of taxes because they're not in there for that. They're the town, and vice versa. A lot of people don't really understand how it goes. And a lot of people, when they go to these forums, they are personal. They're not really questions that matter. It's more personal issues. And when you when you mix the two, it doesn't give out a good result. Your true colors show, and it can get ugly really quick. So I was very surprised about that. But other than that, considering we had 17 people plus a judge,
yeah, it's a lot.
Kennedy, it went very well, and it was well attended. June was there, Matt was there, Cheryl Blum was there, Diane Schaefer, she was there. There were a lot of people there. They were, they were all respectful. June taped it first, which we were very grateful for because we were able to put it around. And it was great. We had a nice turnout, and we were able to ask some questions. Oh, and we did learn, we were not told the truth in the beginning. The HORC is moving. It will not be where it's at. And we were told that it was going to be put in a central place, but this place that they have in Huntington Station, it's bad parking and all this other stuff.
It is actually.
Okay, but how many people that's going to services are going to be driving in a car? They usually take public transportation, so they don't really care about that. So if I have to inconvenience the workers, I'm sorry. But what ways, what's more of the option? What's the better option?
I wonder, why are they trying to empty that building now? Will we be looking at more development, which we're going to get into also, because we've had some alarming reports come out. I just want to say that one of my favorite NAACP meetings was when Mark Cuthbertson and Gene Cook were arguing over LIPA. And clearly Mark showed up prepared, because he started ranting about the overpasses for Obama.
Oh,
do you remember that?
I remember that. I was like,
it had nothing to do with the question. He whips out this overpasses for Obama, and he just went off on a rant. He still won. I don't know. He's got his people, I guess.
That was it.
So I'm going to get into this, but we have some breaking news from Newsday just a couple of minutes ago. Apparently, the DEC has made a ruling on the stones, the 4 rocks that were placed at Heckscher Park with the pipe. And there's an article about that. And of course, they wanted to blame Andre, but it's all going back to the guy who told Andre he did or did not need a permit, but he cleared that up with everything we went through the other night. But the incredible amount of time, resources, and efforts being used to get the DEC to go after a political candidate just so you can make a news story out of it and cast a negative light. This
Over rocks.
over 4
Over
river
rocks.
rocks. This is who they are. This is who they are.
It is who they are.
It is.
But I didn't completely understand the whole gist of the rocks situation.
The Democrats wanted to make Andre look bad by
Right.
saying he placed some rocks at Heckscher Park
4 of them.
illegally and without a permit.
Right.
But wasn't he doing, okay, from my understanding, that was when he went to the park, he was strictly doing cleanup, which is considered,
Ongoing maintenance. Right.
Right.
you don't need a permit.
And he was told by the director, Lipskicks, or I said, I totally annihilated his name, but the director who gives out the permit said, you don't need it. It's ongoing maintenance. So now all they did was, so now the DEC is basically like, oh, over 4 rocks. This
would
is
take
how
that-
petty.
I would take that personal if I was Andre, because now
It
you
was
don't.
personal. It
Now
was.
you're trying to, you're trying to do too much. If I'm, he's damned if he does, he's damned if he don't. That park was horrible. It smelled. It was gross. The water was nasty. I only went there once. From my understanding now, it's beautiful.
It's
So
stunning.
what are you condemning him for? You're condemning him for moving rocks? That's what really irritates me about some of these people. We have so many other pressing issues. And you're going to talk about rocks. You got kids in Northport dying because of cancer under the water. You got MS-13 over here running wild like it's the Wild Wild West, and you're talking about rocks.
Yes.
Well, that situation is actually a little better, but the one in Northport is a new issue that we really need to
What's
cover.
a little better? The MS-13?
A little better.
I just
A
there's
little better,
there's
meaning death ratio.
for who?
I would say death ratio.
Because they're
Because,
still alive and active, very active.
yeah, but we're not really hearing of like death. So what we have in East Northport right now at that school, and thank you, because that's exactly where I wanted to go from with the DEC, was into the East Northport school over by the VA and the bus depot over there. So I'm going to get us there on the page because I want people to go to this Facebook page. This is the Facebook page. Closed Northport Middle School, Long Island, in case nobody's heard. Do you guys want me to play a couple of bits from the
Well, that one lady is that one is very important.
Okay, there's a ton of information here, but you guys gotta go and wait. It's a public page. I want to make sure because I don't show the private pages because I think that's a violation of people's privacy. But if you're on a public page, you're fair game according to the free use established by Facebook. So watch out.
I don't care.
All right, so this is, there's so much good information here. There's charts that tell you the deaths. These are our kids and our educators that are in the school. So, but just give this a quick listen.
Northport Middle School has taken the lives of both students and teachers. Former employees and students have suffered from rare cancers, aplastic anemia, asthma, nosebleeds, vision problems, migraine, heavy metal poisoning, leukemia, lymphoma, multiple miscarriages, birth defects, and growing mold in their sinuses and lungs. Mold has been growing in the building for decades, and it leaks every time it rains. It's likely leaking right now. Recently, a student's lung capacity was decreased to 50%, and he had to have his mold removed from his lungs. Teachers have had mold removed from their sinuses. The improper storage of hazardous chemicals and the chemical smell in the K-Wing warehouse was a horrific occurrence, contributing to the illnesses of both students and teachers for decades. The bare legal minimum was done to clean them up, and now they are leaking back through your paint job. Clearly visible. A child passed out in the K-Wing just last month, and today a teacher evacuated her students. The floor the chemicals spilled on should be broken up, and the soil should be tested for contamination. No additional testing for this wing has been posted since it was reopened and the VOCs were too high and blamed on building materials. Even after the K-Wing was closed, there were approximately 15 students that tested with carboxyhemoglobin levels that were too high. Students also had tests confirming declining platelet levels. They were getting sick and they reached out to you for help. You turned them away. The cesspool found under room G52 containing heavy metals has poisoned its teachers in both 2001 and 2018. Clearly, additional testing is needed. It has been recommended to you by the Suffolk County Board of Health to relocate the bus depot. You have yet to take them up on their advice. They relocated for approximately 2 weeks, and they are right back where they were, pumping fumes into our classrooms. The presence of chlorinated, which was used in access both inside and outside the building, most heavily in the L wing, is of concern. Considering this toxic chemical was never even meant for inside use, it should go without saying that every single classroom should be checked for contamination. The company you hired recommended additional soil testing samples, both shallow and deep. It doesn't seem you'd like to take the recommendations of qualified individuals very seriously, because there has been none. Between the Covento Huntington landfill plumes running right under the property and the 30,000 tons of ash and debris that was removed from the VA Medical Center next door under the New York State DEC Brownfield program, whether or not this property is suitable to run a school on is of great concern. It has been said that the school that this property sits on was a gift. Sometimes gifts need to be returned. Parents, teachers, and students have stood in this very spot begging for your help. They have told you about the extremely rare diseases their children have been diagnosed with, have handed you a list of over 45 teachers who've been diagnosed with or died of rare cancers who have been taught in this building. Residents have literally stood here and cried. The collation between the number of people getting sick has warranted serious action, more than repainting a floor. One can assume you're being guided in a protectionist manner by a team of lawyers. It's time to protect our children and students and teachers. Some of the parents who spoke at your previous meeting were then called into your office where you told them, let's handle this quietly, and intimidated them about how their property values will decline.
Never,
Okay.
never,
I, for one, care
Ever.
more about our children
Never.
and teachers' health than I do about the value
Ever,
of my
ever.
home.
Stop interrupting her.
never.
I care about more than the value of my home. If
That
there's
is
nothing wrong,
absolutely
if
false.
there is
what you
nothing
just said.
wrong, then you should
That is
have nothing to be
absolutely
concerned
false.
about and allow third-party
Absolutely
soil
false.
testing of this property. You have had 63 years to fix these problems because
Absolutely
that's when
false.
they started. And not only are those problems still present, they are getting worse.
Okay, for the full video, please.
Yeah,
go to
you
the
can
page.
check it out.
But I wanted to make sure it got to that part because I wanted you to see how they're starting to react. He was completely wrong. That was wrong. You let the speaker speak. That you're there to, it's a listening session. It's not a Q&A.
Right. There is something from the Northport newspaper that I think I could read, and this way, if someone doesn't listen to that tape, it's pretty important. You mind if I read it? It'll take
I
2
know, because listen, I just want to say thank you for all the research you did on this today. So yes, you take this over. You learned so much about this today. Go for
I
it.
did. I
girl.
felt like I was part of the school today. It was so sickening. I mean, this is Erin Barakovich huge. It's disgusting. It's so sad learning about what these kids have been going through their whole life, including the staff. So just a quick recap. I'll just read something really quick. The school was built in the 1950s and was inappropriately designed. Architecture meant for a warm climate region with exterior walkways connecting the buildings. The pathways were eventually enclosed, but they have leaked, continuously leaked, always flooding, probably leaking right now, like that woman said. The district always runs its bus depot and its central warehouse from the west side of the building. And the site is downgradient in terms of groundwater from the East Northport landfill, which created a groundwater pollution plume that became a United States Environmental Protection Agency Superfund site in the 1980s. And the Northport VA, which also required remediation of the dump site. The latest unrest, get this, the latest unrest about the school was brought up in April of 2017 when a science teacher named George Boyd started feeling sick from a chemical smell, which is still going on today. He went into the district's warehouse below his classroom and he found a storage room with open barrels of hazardous chemicals. Fumes were wafting up through the floor and into his classroom. Mr. Boyd went upstairs and took his students out of the classroom and refused to bring them back in. The incident stirred outrage in the community, the likes of which the district had to do something about it. They had no choice. the K wing of the school was closed for the rest of the year. The summer music program was relocated, and the K wing, K as in kangaroo, the K wing, remained closed for the 2017-2018 school year. Now, this K wing is really important to learn about. It's toxic. And kids are, yeah, they did a little cleaning here, they did a little cleaning there, blah, blah, blah. The kids are back in school there. And yesterday, just yesterday, the fire department was back there because of a mysterious, this is right out of sci-fi, people, a sci-fi movie. This is really sick, like, you know, Area 51 crazy. There was another mysterious smell, odor that was causing headaches, causing nausea. The fire department was there yesterday. It's very hush hush. I called the fire department today. I called the school today. They weren't there. No, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you doing, people? Seriously, like, why would you even go to work there? What is wrong with you? Not to mention, you know, you want to put your kids in a toxic and poisonous school. Why don't you just send them home and drink the tap water? You'll get just as sick. So what's the point? I just don't understand. And I feel really stupid not knowing any of this was going on. But then again, why would I? You know, I'm not part of the Northport district. But this is really scary.
Yeah, but you have to think, if this is happening in a town that's right next to us, Northport,
Right.
I'm sure if you did the research, you know, it's that it's not a, you know, rare story. Long Island has some of the highest cancer rates, you know, so it has to be a reason. This used to be a farmland, so all the seeds and everything, it wasn't intended for all these people to be here.
Right.
Yeah, well,
There is I don't want to interrupt you, but one last thing. The what I just read now on the Facebook page that we directed people to go to, it was updated 19 minutes ago, literally, and it said, "Our voices are being heard. Thank you, Robert Danzer," which is a school superintendent that interrupted that woman.
Like
For
that?
for deciding to move forward with deep soil testing of Northport Middle School. He will make his recommendations to the Board of Education on November 7th. We need answers. Children for the past 2 weeks have been getting headaches with no explanations because of those toxic smells. And that's why the fire department was there yesterday at the K wing. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Why they would even argue about having this deep soil testing is beyond my wildest dreams.
Because they know it's toxic.
Right
there. Coventa's right there. They burn remember all the truckers, the garbage truckers that were dying from cancer? And it was just the drivers from bringing in toxic garbage to burn at Coventa. The rates of cancer are higher in that area than anywhere else on Long Island. And Dana, I know you were saying it used to be farmland, but the rates, what we've done is we've gotten rid of all of our farmland. We built high density housing. Our water is screwed. We're going to get to that report soon. And the rates of cancer have gone up. And even more so in Huntington Station. Lisa posted about it. It blew my mind.
Yeah, you want to know what blew my mind even more than those stats? What blew my mind more than those numbers and the water and the poisonous school was the fact that people were actually, I stopped commenting. People were actually arguing with me, telling me I got the population was wrong. The numbers are outdated, blah, blah, blah. What? What are you arguing with me for?
That's why I've told you, just put stuff up and let them argue about it, because
what's wrong with you people?
Right.
Oh my God. Population is important.
But
Yeah,
meanwhile,
how is me not having cancer, stupid?
but what just happened?
Even though that this may be they got rid of the farming, that's fine. But before they got rid of the farming, they had all kinds of, fertilizer and things that seeped into the ground. But if you don't have people, if the purpose of the land is not to have people on it, you're just doing it for farming. You're not thinking about that. So that's why I said, even though they may have done away with all the farms and the farming, a majority of them, the remnants of those farms are still here. It's still in, our water, hence why we have issues with our aquifer and things like that. So, I mean, it's really sad that they don't give us that information. or maybe we don't research it. I don't know. But I find it hard to believe that Northport is isolated in that kind of, in that respect. When we were off the air, I said, how many other places are like that? So that's what's really scary to me. And our kids go there.
But
Do you know on the Department of Health list, the Department of Health, the list by zip codes, Northport isn't even listed.
But can I tell you, exactly, that wasn't on the list.
Wonder
We
why.
made the list. How bad is it here that we made the list and they didn't?
Right,
They've
but
got,
Northport isn't. Wow, that's scary.
but here we have a government who claims to, and remember, all my kids are vaccinated, okay? So I don't need people coming at me and calling me an anti-vaxxer. We got the government who's now mandating vaccines in the name of public safety. In the name of public safety and health.
If that's
And
not
they-
ironic, I don't
And
know. what is.
look what they're doing to the water. I mean, I think the Northport thing, I think it's a combination of what's going on with that bus depot, as well as the fact of their location with Coventa and a plume that is seeped into that area. And I think that they're either the findings are going to be alarming or somebody's going to try to cover it up, because Coventa is bigger than what most people even can comprehend.
What took so long to agree? What the hell took so long? What is wrong with you people?
Well, and I know you guys saw it, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring it up. This came out today. The new study says drinking water is often less safe than what the federal government may even deem legal. This came out 5:30 this afternoon, okay? Dangerous chemicals tied to cancer problems in pregnancy and child development issues are found in drinking water across the county. Suffolk, New York. Most Americans don't think twice about drinking a glass of water. A report released Wednesday, though, found more than 270 harmful contaminants in local drinking water across the nation, including in Suffolk County. The substances are linked to cancer, damage to the brain, nervous system, hormonal disruption, problems in pregnancy, and other serious health issues. It goes on and on and on about this. A great article that you should go look at what's in here. We should not know what chromium is. We should not have to go look it up, because in the name of public safety, our government is here to protect us from having to even Google what this does to us. Or DuckDuckGo. Don't use Google anymore. DuckDuckGo.
It's really, it's so disgusting. It's so, I don't like to, toot this or brag about this. But I'm a 16-year breast cancer survivor, and I suffered when my babies were little. I suffered, and I have a lot of issues today because of all the cancer treatments that were done to me. I don't have a working thyroid. I have, intestinal issues. I have migraines all the time.
It's not right. I'm going to get you a moment to get yourself together. I'm reading some of this stuff here too. Do you know that the chromium, which causes cancer, has 21 times the rate of the suggested guidelines? Okay. Nitrate, poop, 18 times the rate of suggested guidelines. So there's always going to be poop in your water and cancer in your water, I guess, but they have a suggested level of what's okay for it.
No, I don't want to
It's
drink
20
poop.
times that,
Oh,
but it's 20
I'm
times
not-
the poop.
I'm not okay with that. I don't want to drink poop.
That's
No.
why you'll always see me drinking with I couldn't find my straw tonight, my sparkling water. I drink my sparkling grapefruit juice all the time, constant, my little straw.
Lisa,
We need a vaccine. We need
At
a
least,
vaccine
I'm sorry.
for water. What is my grandson drinking? What are
But
my
we-
children drinking? What are we showering in? It's
Showering, cooking, cleaning.
But Lisa, do you remember there was a Meet the Candidates before, and I can't remember who said it, but they said something about the filter. Well, I drink my water and it tastes fine out the filter. Of course,
Nick.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Nick.
yeah, and everybody was talking how you were crazy and everything, or whatever the case may be, and you're doing too much about the water. I went to Massachusetts, maybe a few months after, and remember I came back and I said I taste a difference when I brush my teeth. I don't drink tap water anyway, But when I brush my teeth, and I cook with bottled water too, how sad is that? I said, but I taste the difference when I brush my teeth. Well, when I went back this summer, I noticed you feel cleaner. Like it's no soap scum on your body when I was in Massachusetts. But when I'm here, every day there's soap residue, not even just on me, on my skin, because I use a very specific soap, but on my boy's skin. So then I was like, damn, I remember when Lisa told us that, and everybody said she was crazy. And it was true, because there's something jacked up in our water.
And it's escalating quickly because we've been doing this show 3 years and we were just lightly talking about it then. Now, I mean, they don't even put out, remember when we used to be Suffolk's best tasting, what they don't even put those reports out
That
anymore.
was a long time ago. When I was a kid, I used, yeah, our water used to taste delicious. And then whenever we went somewhere else, the water was always, yeah.
Do you want to know how bad it is?
At night, Dana, I wanted to know why everybody was drinking out of bottled water and why nobody was drinking out of tap.
Want to know how bad it really is?
Mm.
They're considering a proposal right now in Nassau County to start getting their water from upstate.
Right.
I heard that they were getting the water from New York City.
New York City gets their water from upstate. So we would be linking into the large tube that was built by the Irish hundreds of years ago. I actually read that whole story. It was a great story.
Is the tube clean?
I'm sorry?
Is the tube clean if it was built 100 years ago?
Well, yeah, I mean, it keeps
going
flowing and
on?
stuff. They built this amazing, huge tunnel that gets the water from upstate. In fact, where I was for competition in Arlington. And when I was there last week, the reservoirs were very, very, very low, an alarming amount. Like you can see the watermarks. And it was our band instructor was pointing out how low the reservoirs were. And I was like, that's right, we get our water. Well, New York City gets their water from up here. But they're talking about tapping into that old tunnel now to feed Nassau County.
Yeah. What about us?
I think that's just ridiculous for many reasons. And you know, when is enough going to be enough?
You cannot outgive a taker. And they do all this in the name of sales tax revenue. You need to remember that every person they add on this island into high density housing is sales tax revenue. That's where they generate their money.
And what I don't understand, why do they keep building? The more people that come, the more problems. Okay, I get the money part, but this is an island. It wasn't meant to have this many people on it.
They need to kick the developers off the bridge.
They don't care. Do you remember when Robert Moses originally built the roads on Long Island? It's a great, interesting read if you want to. The reason why they're so low was to stop the development. Like he's the whole reason we have the Robert Moses Parkway and Jones Beach and all of that's protected. Otherwise, you'd have multi-million-dollar homes on all that by now if he had not had the forethought to do that. But the low-laying bridges was designed to keep the least amount of development off this part of the island as possible. And now look at it.
Well, they didn't do a very good job. And that's why the highways are the way that, like the Northern State, are only 2 lanes. You know, it was built. The purpose of these places out here was not for this large mass of people that are here now. The infrastructure, and people are constantly saying they're turning this into a little Queens or a little city. It's impossible to do that. We don't have the infrastructure to do that. We don't have public transportation like the city. We don't have sewers like the city. We don't have enough resources like the city. So as much as they may want to look like the city, act like the city, will never be the city. We just won't be. So I don't know, maybe we just all have to fall in somewhere before they stop. But it's not, you know, all this development is not gonna do anything for any of us, except for line the pockets of those that are well off.
Yep. Well, I have a confession. I might be crazy at some things, but our water is shit. Excuse me. I'm not crazy about that.
Oh goodness. You know what? I have somebody who just came to me and so we just have a couple more minutes left. We do have a staff of many, but I'd like to introduce you to my key graph. This is Mr. Liam Lavertu, and he helps set up all of our sets. He helps with lighting, he helps with all that stuff, and picking out some of the toys and upgrades. And he's also, I like how your turtle's picking up the green screen. He also helps us with our on-site filming. So he's been doing a lot. He's like our key grip, right? That's what I've been calling you, our key grip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wanted me to give him a little shout out because he says he never gets his names in the credits.
Oh.
We're still live, just so you know.
Thank you, Leo.
Okay. So thank
you.
you. So that's one of our staff, as well as some of the other people who do a lot of work for us in the background. So on that note, since it's time and I have to go pick up my band children, I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's Huntington View, and we'll see everyone again next week. Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Good night. Don't drink the water.
Sorry.